Good morning, Extension English. The focus of this week is to just be writing an essay. So we're finishing off Animal Farm in today's lesson, and we are in week 4. So prior to this, your work had been focused in on analysing Animal Farm, and you were choosing a question, and now you're spending some time writing an essay. So if I just take you down, it's just simply that you are taking the information that you've put into this essay plan and putting it and constructing an essay. So there were some things that I thought that I would just take you through in terms of how you write an essay and some of the things you need to consider. Firstly, your introduction is really, really important. You need to clearly outline your overall argument in this introduction. So whatever your question is, whatever your response, your overall response to that question is, that needs to be really clear in that introduction, and you need to start there. What's also important is that you build up your analysis in your introduction so that we have a really good understanding of your overall argument and also where you plan to take that argument in terms of your clear ideas that back up that main argument. I know one confusion that people often have is that they've got lots of ideas that answer the question, but in order to have a really sophisticated response, you need to have an overall response to the question that's backed up by, little sub-points, okay? And they become your body paragraphs. So for every body paragraph, you need to ensure that you use peel. Okay, sometimes it's called peel, sometimes teal. But either way, it is that you clearly state your point. So whatever that sub-idea is that you're going to back up your response with, that needs to be your first sentence, and you need to really, really clearly state your ideas. You need to use evidence and quotes and explanation from the texts to back up that response. So I actually often say that peel should be P-E-E-E-L, and my reason for that is that you would have your argument, you would provide some form of explanation expanding on that argument, you then provide quotes, and then you obviously need to analyse the quote regarding how and why that quote actually does do what you're saying that it does. And then you'd be linking it back to your overall argument, that overall thesis that we talked about in that introduction. So I hope that sort of gives you an idea of the sophisticated level that each of your paragraphs should have in it. So what we've said here for this one is 3 body paragraphs. Now that's because we are just doing, a smaller practice essay. An extension English essay would more likely have, 4 key body paragraphs at a minimum in it. And then just a little quick one, on conclusion. Again, really, really important part of your essay that sometimes gets sort of left by the wayside. You need to come back here and remind your audience of what it is that you were arguing in the first place. What are the ideas that you're trying to put forward, and how have you backed those up? Now, while I say all this, I'm hopefully not going to just get cut off and run out of time. If I start speaking quickly, that's why you'll know why. I want you to think about the audience, okay? Your audience for Extension English is someone that has a degree in English literature at a minimum, okay? So I want you to think about this as an academic audience. I don't want you to be using I and I think and the language you might use with your friends. I want you to be thinking about sophisticated language in terms of how you get your message across to this audience. So I hope that gives you a bit of a guide. I'm looking forward to seeing what you write and giving you some feedback. I won't look at these until probably the end of next week. So we'll be back face-to-face before I even look at these. Whilst we won't be touching these again in class time, you will have that bit of extra time to use in your own time to work on this. Of course, we've also got our IRPs that we should be plotting along with in terms of our analysis as well. And I'll do a screencast that you'll be able to jump into for week 4 there as well. Okay, take care, guys, and I will see you face-to-face soon.